All right, everyone. It's NFL preseason. I'm getting real tired of hearing about all the damn interceptions these quarterbacks are throwing. They're just taking more riskier throws in practice. So hearing that Josh Allen threw 3 picks or Dak throws 3 picks, yeah, okay, it's a big deal, but that's where you're supposed to perfect your craft is in practice. So you're supposed to throw picks and supposed to throw take chances on different plays. That's how you know what plays are working against top defenses like yourself. If you're the Eagles, if you're the Bills, if you're the Chiefs. Like I got this update the other day. Mahomes threw 3 picks. Who cares? He's in practice working on different things. Not everything's going to go as smoothly. So it really annoys me to hear that stuff because we're in preseason. This is practice, man. Practice. Practice? This is practice, man. What's going on, everyone? Happy Thursday. This is Cinco Squad. With me are my bros, Mike DeSanto, Grandpa J, Trey Day, and I am Jonathan Sawyer. Welcome to Cinco Squad. We got an exciting show. We got a special guest here, so stay tuned for who that may be here in a little bit. But before we get to that, let's hop to Big Mike to see what's on his mind this week. You've been coming at us with the facts of the week and everything, Mike. So, what is on your mind?
Yes, what is on my mind this week? Well, it's a very, you'll see it also with our guest we have here in a little bit, very fight themed week. And so I thought I'd bring you a fight fact. That's right, alliteration, fight fact. So the buzz is still on from Terrence Crawford retaining his welterweight title for the WBO, right? Great fight. Talked a lot about it last couple of weeks. The buzz is still on for that. But did you guys know that Terrence Crawford is now tied with Manning Galloway and Antonio Margarito for the most defenses of the WBO welterweight title in history with 7. He is now tied with those two and has for the most defenses of that title in boxing history.
So he's defended it 7 times.
He's successfully defended it 7 times.
Wow. And the record is 7. So now
the record is 7. So if he does it one more time, he will hold the all-time record.
Trey, is that something that like he has a chance to do at this point? Like he's gonna
he doesn't do it.
Yeah. So
yeah, if he does it.
Who's the next one in line?
Or do you mean to fight him in general?
Yeah. Who's next up?
We don't know yet. Some people want to fight Charlo, but Charlo's fighting Canelo. So my gut says I think that's going to be where it's at. I kind of want to fight one of these younger up and coming fighters, but my gut says they're going to do the Charlo fight because Charlo, win or loss, his name's going to be bigger because he just fought Canelo, so the profile will be there. But I think that's where it's going to end up going. And with that being said, I think Crawford is going to take him out too. So whoever shows up in that ring, I think he's getting to 8. Like that's how I feel right now.
Mike, to add on to your facts with a brutal fact, I sent John this video. I forgot to post it to each one of you guys. His mother is the reason why he became an animal. This video came out where she was like, "You wanted me to tell me I love him, and I just never did. I used to tell the boys in the streets, I'll give you $10 if you could beat him. He beat every single one of them."
Damn.
She was literally paying kids in the neighborhood.
So he literally fought for his mother's love for his whole life, and she was like, "I didn't say it." She turned this man into an animal. That's all he wanted to do.
That's crazy.
He said he wanted to hear he loved you from his mom, and then everybody else is paying for it.
Did he I wonder if he finally got his "I love you" after this past fight. No, she's like, no, you got to defend it 8 times and break the record.
Yeah.
So you got to defend it 8 times in order to get that "love you," and I'll love you.
Then to 9, then to 10, then to 11. Quit moving the bar, Ma. All right. I'm sorry. I feel like this needs to be addressed. As a major baseball fan as I am, this just needs to be talked about. The Baltimore Orioles should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. Their play-by-play announcer, Kevin Brown, with a graphic made by their staff, talked about how going into this past series with the Tampa Bay Rays, the Orioles were 3-2 on the year against the Rays, but were not having success prior to that in the prior few years. Baltimore, it's because you sucked. You didn't have success because you were terrible. You had bad players with bad contracts. Chris Davis. But why is it Kevin Brown's fault that happened? And why is he being punished and taken off the air? Because he pointed it out. It's a fact. If you don't want it to be a fact, be better. You should have been better if you didn't want this to be a thing. So stop punishing him because you were bad back then and focus on the fact that he's a great announcer and you're a great baseball team. Can we just do that, please?
Let me throw it over to Grandpa Jay for his lock of the week because you know what? He's on fire with that sweep last week.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we called the sweep last week, and the Birds came through in spectacular fashion against those oh-so-woeful Mets of New York. Talk about a team just completely going from potential World Series favorite to the chump of the league right now. Anyways, we don't talk about the Mets that much on this show, do we, boys? What we do is we move into much happier territory for an English football fan like myself. We have the opening weekend of the Prem, and I have not one, not two, but 3 locks day by day for you guys. My absolute lock of the week is take Arsenal at home on Saturday. They are going to push Man City to the limit this year. I know they were ahead for most of last year, but this team looks really put together well this year. Their manager has done a great job at making them not just believe that they can, but they just beat Man City last week in the Community Shield, which is where the runner-up of the league is supposed to play the league winner. That's Arsenal and Man City. They won on penalties, and they held the best playmaker and scorer in the world to 0 shots on goal, that being Mr. Haaland. So that team looks impressive. Arsenal over Nottingham Forest. That's my lock of the week. Then, if you want to make some money before that, you got Man City on Friday. That's the opening match against Burnley. Even though they're on the road, Man City don't lose 2 games in a row. That's an absolute lock. And I don't normally do this. But fuck Chelsea. Liverpool over Chelsea on the road. Give me my boys to win. We didn't play well last week. I mean, last year, opening day was not good for us. In fact, the first 3-4 weeks of the season weren't good for us. I see a turnaround, even though we've got a lot of changes in the midfield. So absolute lock. We got Arsenal on Saturday. If you want to make some money on Friday and then wage that to double up on the weekend, take Man City on Friday. And then you got to believe in my boys. Let's go Liverpool. We shall never walk alone. Liverpool, Chelsea.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in today. We have a special guest today. He is a 3-time national champion, boxing champion, that is, and just turned pro. 1-0, just had a knockout this weekend. We're so happy to have him on. Please let's introduce David Cardenas. David, welcome to the show, brother.
What's up? How's everyone doing?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
So you just became pro. What, a couple weeks ago? Is that correct, or a few months ago?
Actually, I made my pro debut Friday.
Yes, how did that go?
It was great. I was in Mexico, Matamoros. I had a 2nd round knockout.
Hell yeah, man! That's great.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good experience. Finally got to like feel the style of the pros and see how it was, and it went good.
Yeah, so David, I know you're from San Antonio. Down from San Antonio, I know you got Bam Rodriguez. That's like the big deal down there. I know he's right now the WBO flyweight champ. And I don't know if you necessarily like your style of him, but what boxer would you say that you like in your style to that's like professional that's probably known right now? Or past, even if they're not active?
I mean, Bam, Lomachenko, and I think I can box, but I'm trying to see maybe a little bit of Shakur, kind of. I feel like.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
like
so.
Shakur.
Yeah.
So on the topic of kind of guys that you compare yourself to and maybe grew up idolizing in the sport, I really want to ask you this question: if you could share the ring for a boxing match with one person in history, any boxer alive or dead in history, who would it be?
Oh man, I never really thought about that. Probably Mayweather. Just to get all the knowledge. I know he's a Mayweather. Yeah, Mayweather. I don't see anyone else. Or De La Hoya.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
I used to like him. I used to like watching him. I liked his jab.
Yeah, you got quick hands like Floyd.
Dave, now you've turned pro. Has there been a whole different game plan now when it comes to your training and how meticulous it is and what you need to really shift your lifestyle as a pro?
It's way different. My whole life is different now. No more school. I do 2 days now. Just pretty much just do 2 days, Monday through Friday. Saturdays run. It's just way different. Just it's more work. More work. My work ethic has to be better and just more disciplined.
And with those 2 days, what's the recovery like with that? Is that built into your schedule now where you're doing a lot more recovering because you're adding a double practice 5 days a week?
Yes. It really just depends. Like I do it like once or twice a week. It really just depends on how my body's feeling. I don't do it if I don't need it. You know what I mean?
Now, is that ice baths or what does that look like?
I do the cold chamber, I don't know if you know the cold chamber.
Yeah.
I do like compressions. I do massages, all that, just different stuff.
Cool. So, I mean, let's talk about pre-pro, entering your pro. You know, what's the difference that you see ultimately? I know you probably just answered that here now, but like, you know, and I noticed like in the previous fights you were wearing a headgear. Is that correct? And like, and something a blocking waist around your waist. Um, is that like different now? Like that you're fighting without that now? You feel a little bit more free and a little bit more free to go where you want to go with it.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, yeah. 8-ounce gloves. No headgear. You get or you can feel the punches. You can see everything now. You can see everything without a headgear, and now you could just I think it's overall way better.
Were you like? Were you like when you first got hit? Can I get the headgear real back?
Nah, it was pretty interesting. I got hit in the first round on Friday.
Yeah.
He landed pretty solid, and I was like, oh dang. I mean, I felt it. It wasn't like. Of course, I'm not gonna back down. That's made me like, oh okay. Actually, I'm glad I got hit because now I know what it feels like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense, man.
Yeah, makes sense. But so when I was watching the Crawford fight, something always stands out to me, which I love, is watching the intros come out. So like, of course, Crawford comes out, he has Eminem with him. Big Extra Plug walks out. I know he's a Texas guy. Big Extra Plug comes out with Errol Spence. Eventually, at some point, and I know you're gonna blow up at some point. When you do blow up, if you had an option, who would you want to be like your walkout artist? What music artist would you have walk you out?
Man, I like listening to a lot of rappers. Hopefully like NBA YoungBoy, Lil Baby.
Okay.
Even like I was thinking, I fight August 26th here, San Antonio. Hopefully, I'm gonna get a mariachi to walk me out.
That'd be dope.
Yeah,
That'd be dope.
I know the hometown crowd. They like that, all that stuff. So it'll be exciting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Into the hometown crowd.
Yep.
So I when you know we confirmed we were having you on and was kind of looking into your past career and what's kind of led you here. I believe there was a story written about you back in February, just as you were getting ready to be done with school and getting ready to turn pro and all that. And one thing that kind of popped out to me is you were not just a boxer in high school; you also played football and basketball. And being big sports fans as we are, I wanted to know. It kind of made me think from either a mental or physical perspective, right? If you were going to take like something or some things from playing football or basketball into boxing or vice versa, what's kind of something that's kind of translatable that way?
That everything you do, like in any sport, is not gonna come easy. You gotta work for it, no matter what you do. At the end of the day, team sport or non-team sport, you're gonna have to work. You're gonna have to work hard yourself and for a team. At the end of the day, the end goal is to win. So that's the most important thing.
Nice.
Awesome. All right, so I'm a little more interested in was it always your dream to be a pro boxer? Or was there something else on your mind as a young kid? Tell us about like how you journeyed through being a kid and what was it always pro athlete? Just give me an insight to how that evolutionized to boxing.
I mean, it was always a pro athlete. I just didn't know. I didn't have when I was younger. I didn't pick one sport. I always did since I was like, I think 5, 6. I was always playing sports. I did football, basketball, soccer. growing up. I even did baseball for a little bit. So I did all that seasonal all the way till I got to high school. Freshman year, I finally decided I was like, my freshman year, I finally decided I'm gonna just do basketball in high school and boxing. And I had gone to the national tournament, one of the national tournaments, and I made it to the semifinals. That's when I noticed like, oh, I could boxing was gonna be my sport because I made it. I made it without really, I was just having fun with it. Not really, I was just having fun, just really, just doing whatever with the sport of boxing. And then I noticed I could take it far, so that's when I really focused up. I stuck with it, and now I'm here. Made my pro debut, and 1-0.
You chose right. You chose the right path. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure having Spurs win championships every other year kind of made you want to play basketball too, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Now,
I just was always into sports. Even like I did my senior year. I didn't play football year. I didn't play football my whole high school year until I got to senior.
Okay.
So I became a senior just because I was like my dad. He's always wanted me to like play under the lights, Friday night lights. So I really did it for him, so he could see me, and it was actually kind of cool. I scored a touchdown on varsity. So
Nice.
Not a lot of people can say they did that,
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, and there's nothing like playing under the lights, and especially in Texas, man. That's gotta be big time. How'd you guys do your senior year?
Not good. Edison, my school, it wasn't. They're not really known for like being good, But I think we won like 3 games probably.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. I just did it for fun. I knew we weren't gonna do nothing, but I just did it for fun.
Stay in shape.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
So boxing is in my opinion, a very underrated sport. I think I've had a lot of buddies growing up that were boxers, and went to a training gym, and I went to a training gym one time. And I'll tell you right now, I've trained my whole life, and that's one of the hardest workouts I've ever had to put through. What kind of workouts have you guys started to implement, and now that you got your pro card, and I'm sorry if you answered this already, but like that you've seen to be like, oh shit, now I gotta go to this level, now I gotta get to this level. Do you feel like you're pushing yourself harder to a next level?
Yeah, always pushing myself harder. I mean, just growing, getting stronger, faster, just sharpening my skills every day in the gym. That's the most important part, just getting stronger because I'm finding, grown men now, so just growing little by little.
And who are you fighting on August 26th?
I don't know. I think some guy from
some no one, someone from out there,
I think
it's gonna be locker room material for him. Don't worry.
I think he's from Michigan. I don't know. I think his name's. I don't know his name, but my team got someone for me, so we'll be good.
We know his name. Knockout number 2.
Hopefully.
Okay, so speaking of boxing being like serious business, I'm always curious to this because I have my own certain opinion on this. But how do you feel about these Jake Paul, Logan Paul, these guys like how they just are hopping in the ring, like, oh yeah, I'm on YouTube now. I'm a boxer suddenly. When you have people like you, yourself, or any other guys who y'all do this for real, like as a craft. How do you feel about those type of YouTube boxer crossover MMA type things?
I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like boxing now is more about money. I think like it's more about making money now, but I really don't pay mind to it. That's I don't know. I feel like they already had the fame, and they just I guess it was easier for them. Like it was an easier route because they had the fame.
Yeah.
So all they had to do was, oh, I want to fight, so people are gonna pay to see them anyways because they're famous.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part because like
and then it just sucks. They're already up there. Like us, we have to work our way up there. Like they already got it. They're already famous from like not even from boxing, and they just like right away. We have to work our way up there.
Yep, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, I kind of had a question that kind of goes along with that, which is a lot of the guys that Jake Paul and Logan Paul and all them have been fighting have been like some of the older MMA guys. So as far as MMA goes, like what's your opinion, perspective on MMA, and would you ever be interested in someday trying maybe making the jump for at least for a fight in the mixed martial arts world?
Nah, I don't. I really don't. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Nah, I really don't. I don't really watch UFC, MMA. I'm not really into it, especially because I know I think I heard like they don't get paid that much, like compared to boxers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't find myself they get beat up pretty bad, like
Mm-hmm.
There's like a lot of I really never watched it. Yeah, I don't think I ever unless somehow I get they offer me a big.
Yeah, I got you.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Money talks, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, so pretty cool. I love your idea, right? So home debut coming up in a couple weeks, and now you're getting deeper. Let's look forward maybe 5-6 years, right? And now you're getting to the point where you can be a challenger and really have some big tickets. I know there's a huge push for people who want to fight in Vegas because the energy is buzzing all the time. Do you have a dream venue that you've thought of, like, hey, when I really start to make it, I would love to fight here?
I mean, probably like maybe Vegas, MGM Grand, or even like I think New York, even New York, or even Vegas. No, yeah, I mean not MGM Grand or I think it's Oracle Arena.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, in San Fran. Yep.
Yeah. Just like different, like It's just maybe if you're in AT&T Center, San Antonio.
There you go.
Now it's the now it's the Frost Bank. Now it's the Frost Bank Center.
Yeah, it's gonna keep changing every year now. You're never gonna need. You have to wake up and go drive to the building and be like, "Who are you today?" All right, that's who you are.
The Wembyama Center. So when it comes down to, I guess your fight, I see you're having some sponsorships and everything like that. What are some key sponsors that you're proud to, rep and everything like that?
All my sponsors, all my sponsors always, whatever sponsor can get, I'm thankful for that because, not everyone can get sponsors, So, but one of my biggest sponsors is Gomez Law Firm. I'm wearing the shirt now, but they're like one of my biggest sponsors. They've helped me a lot in everything I need. They help me, but I'm always thankful for all my sponsors because without them, I probably wouldn't have the stuff I have.
That's awesome. I see you got the DC hats that they've been selling online. We gotta get it. We gotta get a few of those.
Yes, sir.
They come in different colors.
Yeah, they have like 20 different colors. Yeah.
Oh, we got to get a Cinco Squad yellow and black one.
Yeah, for sure.
He's like, hey, yeah, Pittsburgh Steelers. I was getting yellow and black.
Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, don't mention that name on the show. We can't go there. We got Giants fans and Philly fans in here.
You see that bird behind us? David's like, all right, I'm done. But I mean, it's really cool to see, you're living your dreams and doing everything. Who is your biggest role model? Going through all this and keeping you kind of like level in that sense to like run things off.
Not my dad. If it's not my dad, probably my dad. If not, one of my close friends, Cutting Johnson, Spurs player. I mean,
awesome.
I see what he got to go through, to make it. He's already made it, and I can see what he puts in day in day out, and I know what he's already there, so I know what it takes to be the next level at a next level. So. Okay.
And what has he kind of told you about this? About stepping into that next level?
It's never gonna be easy. There's always someone trying to take your spot. You gotta grind, no matter if you feel like it or not. You gotta keep waking up, wake up, get to the grind because no one's gonna give it to you. You have to go get it.
That's awesome. And he plays for the Spurs currently, right?
No, he's on the Spurs right now.
Oh, that's dope. He plays Wembyama and everything, throwing him alleys.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man, you're around good company because they say the people you're around the most, especially the closest 5 people, you'll become that. So keep surrounding yourself with people like that. You're definitely gonna be in good company. That's the right way to go.
Yeah, Kelton's solid. He was on Team USA.
Yeah, he's an Olympic. He got when they went to Tokyo, he won. They won up there.
Wow. Yeah, he got a gold medal now, which is cool. I know, that's dope having with the gold medal. But so I know one of the big things now, if you like graduate from high school, now you're pro. just kind of find a balance. So like, what do you do to like try to keep like just a personal life balance with like friends? I know you're close with your dad. You know, catch up with friends. Like, how do you go about being able to keep that balance from boxing, but still being able to actually enjoy it?
I mean, throughout the week, I really don't do nothing. I really don't have time to be out, other than because I got 2 a days. So, I mean, of course, social media, just contact, like, text through there. But usually on the weekends, that's when I'm free. That's my off days. So I'll go be with the guys, chill with them. If not, be with family. Just, just be with them.
Makes sense.
Yeah, you always got to keep that balance. I know it's important.
Yeah, because I mean, boxing, you gotta be 100%. If not, then you're gonna mess up somewhere, and it'll be wrong. You gotta be 100% with boxing. You can't have fast boxing.
Yeah, get your block knocked off. You go half-ass in boxing.
That's for sure. So now that like we said, you've turned pro now. You've been around the ring for a while now, growing up doing it, and now really diving headfirst into the full world of being a pro boxer. I was curious, for the fights you've seen, who, aside from yourself, because I'm sure you're number one on this list, but who's been the best fighter you've seen in person?
Like top 5 or just one?
No,
person?
just the best fighter you've ever seen in person.
Oh, the bet in person. Who's the fighter seen in person? I don't know who. Dang. Trying to see who I've seen in person fight. Man, I've really never really gone to any big fights.
It can be big fight, small fight, just someone that kind of stood out to you.
Or even somebody maybe in amateurs you saw, maybe
Yeah.
when attorney, like
a name maybe we've never heard.
The only one I've really seen in person is probably Bam. Yeah, I think Bam. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Bam.
Awesome.
So I got some questions just to find out where your head's at in terms of cheat meals, right? In my time, I used to train pretty hard, train for the Olympics as a swimmer, but we used to eat because they were like, hey, y'all need to eat to recover. Now, you it's a little bit different, right? Because your weight really counts as staying there and holding that weight so you get the weigh in and stuff like that. But do you include cheat meals weekly? Are you super disciplined with your diet? What does a cheat meal look like for you if you have one?
Man, if I'm being honest, right now I don't diet yet. Like I really don't diet at the time. I'm so like my walk around weight is not heavy at all. Okay. So I don't diet. I cut by myself. Like I just do the regular cuts.
Mm-hmm.
Just like salads. Really, it's nothing. It's really nothing. Like the week of, I'll just eat chicken salad, Subway, salads. It's different. Healthy stuff. Eggs, rice, grilled chicken. But I really don't be. I don't.
So what's
haven't
your favorite unhealthy? Spit it. Come on, let's hear it. Pizza, burgers, tacos.
Probably chicken Alfredo.
There you go.
That's nice.
Chicken Alfredo, steak. If not, probably like a Mexican burger.
Yeah.
Making me hungry.
Mexican.
Talking my language. I'm hungry.
Mexican burger. What is in that? I gotta know.
It's like ham, bacon, avocado, lettuce, tomato.
He said sold.
Yeah, I think it has meat in there too, like a patty. I'm trying to remember. I haven't had one in a while since but like of course when I'm like getting ready for a fight, I won't need nothing bad though, like nothing unhealthy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just try to stay healthy, like just water and then healthy food.
Bro, after you win on August 26th, get a Mexican burger, hold it up like that, and tag us in.
I'm gonna get a Coke and a Mexican burger or mini taco.
There we go.
And make sure you tag us in it so we'll be like, okay,
sure.
that's what it is.
We see it.
So you got about less than 3 weeks to your fight. Is this normal? Where it's you had your first fight this past Friday, and then 3 weeks later you have another fight. Is it going to be consistent like that, or are you going to try to space it out? To give yourself a little break.
I mean, just for now. I mean, of course, since I'm trying to build my record as fast as I can.
Of course.
I'm probably for now, like try to get him as fast as I can. But of course, I mean, if anything happens, like I get hurt, I get a cut or something. Hopefully that never happens. But other than that, we're gonna try. I think like by the end of this year, we're gonna try to get to 5-0.
Oh, awesome!
Okay.
We'd love to see that.
So I think I'm gonna take September off, and then October, November, December fight those. Yeah,
Okay.
I take 1 month off, and after that go 3. Yeah.
That's sweet. That's sweet, man. You know, one of the biggest things that we call ourselves the Underdog Podcast because we're all about being the underdog and everything. Do you ever feel like that? I mean, I know you're number one in the country, but like, does it ever go into a fight where you're like, I'm the underdog, and how do you overcome that?
I mean, of course, I go into every fight thinking I'm the underdog because at the end of the day, I gotta, no matter what, I'm gonna start to handle business, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like thinking I'm the underdog is gonna drive me more, push me more to, because even, you know, in training camps, I'm the underdog, I'm gonna work harder, I'm gonna push myself harder, and I'm gonna stay focused. Because you never want to, in my opinion, you never want to go in a fight thinking you're the best, you know? Because you never know what the other guy can bring.
Yeah, I always see it with boxers that they're always like really confident and really cocky when they go in their interviews and everything like that. So I just didn't know if that was like your mentality or you're more of the humble type to just go in and get that.
Yeah. And then, yeah, my dad always told me, just there's always someone working harder than you,
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another day I did a video and it basically was about like the Crawford and Spence fight. Now, for my money, I think right now, pound for pound, best in boxing. No offense, because I know you're a professional now. Is Crawford? I know some people say it's Canelo, some people say it's was Spence. Some people say Canelo, some people say Crawford, some people say Tank. In general, who do you think is the best pound for pound right now in the game?
After what I seen from Crawford, it's either Crawford. I think Crawford. After what I just seen, I think Crawford. If not, I mean, yeah, I think Crawford. If not, in a way, put on a good show too.
Yeah, I agree. That's the same thing I said. When I saw that and that impressive type victory, I said, as far as I'm concerned, I think he removed all haters. I do have a quick other question too. With your dad being like your biggest influence, I know you said like that was like your inspiration. Did you see the video? We were actually talking about this on the show where Crawford mom is basically talking about how he had to fight for her love because she didn't love him.
Yeah, I did see that. I did see
You
that.
did see that. Okay. I was just curious with you saying, yeah, my mom inspires me.
It's kind of my dad was kind of the same way. Not as bad as he was, but he would like growing up. He was never saying like he would never tell me good job. He would never tell me like I mean he would tell me he's proud of me of course but he would never like tell me, oh, you did good, because he knew like I could do better. You know what I mean? Like he would never tell me the good stuff I did. He would always tell me the bad stuff I did.
Gotcha. I was very the same way, so I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad would always give me the critiques before you get like he'd be like, well, you could have done this, that, and the other. And I'm like, damn, like I scored 3 goals in this game.
Yeah.
Like, I play hockey growing up, so like it's like, damn, bro, like give me a break.
Well, so going into that fight on the 26th, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, do you have a round prediction?
Nah, especially right now, knowing that. Nah, I don't. Not right now.
Okay, I mean, fair. That's
like
fair.
Even my first fight, I didn't know what to expect. So like I'm still.
I got you.
I'm still new to this. I don't know what to expect. I still feel like I don't. It still feels new to me.
I got you.
Hey man, I think you have a winner's mentality already. You have respect for the sport itself. You have respect for your opponents. So I just want to tell you, man, keep on your path. You got 4 new fans right here. We'll be rooting for you every time. Make sure you post us when you're doing stuff so we can promote it. And we wish you the best. And I'm gonna be following you, man. So keep it up. Go get them.
Thank you.
Yeah, David. We'll give you the floor here right now to wrap it up. And you got a rant. We call it the rant of the week. So basically, just whatever's on your mind, you can promote the fight, we do whatever. But it's about, as long as you want, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever you want. I'll just give you the floor to just rant about whatever you're feeling on the chest.
All right. Just want to say big thank you to y'all for having me. Big thanks to my dad, my mom, my family, all my close friends. Thanks to my sponsors, Gomez Law Firm, Solano's Barbershop, Clutch, BAM. Who else? Man, MTZ Hunting. Missing one. Damn, I can't miss one. Nah, I'm missing one, I think. Nah, I'm good. No, Las Gringas. Las Gringas taco truck. There you go. Um, hopefully, whoever from San Antonio watching this, if not, y'all not from San Antonio, y'all can tune in. I think there should be like a live stream. If not, y'all can hit me up for tickets. If you're from San Antonio, hit me up for tickets, and I'll be glad to drop some off to you, so y'all could watch an amazing night of boxing, August 26th at the Shrine Auditorium.
Perfect, and that's the Shrine Auditorium, everyone. So make sure you tune in. If you're in San Antonio, go watch. We'll put the stream when we get it from David. So if you're not in San Antonio, you can watch there. David, we really appreciate this, man. We want to have you on the show again, and best of luck to you when we want to have you back on the show when you're 5-0 here after that
Yes,
resolution. So, all right.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
All right. Best of luck, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, thanks to my brother John, who said something very interesting in the group today. I don't know if this has been ranted already, but hey, you know what? We might throw it out there twice. Missouri head football coach probably came up with the best point of them all as for why all this conference realignment is happening. Who's thinking about the other athletes in the other sports with parents who might not be able to travel cross country to see their kids compete, with kids who might not be able to handle all of that travel, be it that they may be stressed out with all the potential cross-country plane rides that they used to be able to just bus themselves to different places and different spaces because the conferences were aligned for that. So you can lessen the burden of the expenses of travel for other teams who don't get to fly on private jets. So my rant really goes around this. I know that college sports are dictated around the money that football brings in because that floats every other program that there is as it trickles down towards the other programs because they'll never be able to generate the kind of revenue that football does. But despite football being king, football really treated the rest of the NCAA student athlete body like peasants. And that sucks. And I really wish they had taken a little time to think for a second. Should we only make this football? Can you do something like that? I don't think you can by the rules of how it works, where certain teams can stay in a conference in softball and then the football team could leave. But if they could, utopianly, maybe that should have been what was discussed. Unfortunately, it wasn't. And now who knows if the other sports can sustain themselves or even afford to play every team they're supposed to play within a calendar year. So what that does, whether it waters down the other sports or not, because you may not get those same yearly rivalries, it definitely may make people think twice. Do I really want to attend this school now to be a lacrosse player or a swimmer or a women's soccer player? Who knows? Time will tell.
All right, fellas, let's get into it with our first topic of the week, the Hall of Fame game basketball edition, since it's the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, where we play a game. We each give ourselves a player, coach, whoever, manager, GM, and we see if they should be in the Hall of Fame or not. Mike, I'm going to throw it over to you first. Who you got for us this week?
Okay, so we've talked before on the show and off the show with each other about how the Basketball Hall of Fame is a little different from the other Hall of Fames in the sense that it's all of what you've done in basketball as opposed to just the Pro Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. So I have a little bit of a name that came to mind that's a little interesting for his career. Gentlemen, is Adam Morrison a Hall of Famer?
Oh, wow. That's a good one, bro.
Pride of the Gonzaga Bulldogs. You know what? I'll send it to my camera right. Send it to Jay.
Definitely a monster at Gonzaga. Part of that initial movement of putting Gonzaga basketball on the map and really making Mark Few a relevant name in the nation. So they went from fluke to always being an underseed because they played too weak of a conference to obviously being respected as a top team in the nation. Mm-hmm. And he was a big part of that movement. He was definitely the best player in his senior year by far in college basketball. And whether the game translated to the league or not, he was a relevant role player. That's why it's hard to say, like, as a relevant pro, even though you're a role player, yes, you're relevant. You know, Trey brought it up, like, I might go home and boast about, my kids, like, yo, you should have seen Adam Morrison. Well, maybe his college highlights, right? But even they weren't flashy or to the sense where, like, this guy stood out enough. He was just sound fundamental, right? Sound fundamental. Now, that's not taken away from what he contributed to the game, because I feel there's a lot of sound, fundamental college basketball players that get the nod as player of the year. I mean, look at Oscar Tshiebwe, right? Like, he's player of the year and he doesn't even have an offensive game. He's just a dominance in one aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So, does he belong in the Hall of Fame? I'm going to say, sorry, Adam Morrison. Gonzaga loves you, but I don't for the Hall of Fame. Trey, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm not sorry. No, he does not belong in the Hall of Fame. I'm not going to apologize for him. Adam is, he's a great college player for what it was. But if we start putting people like Adam Morrison just because he had a good year of college or 2 good seasons of college, then now we got to start putting in Christian Laettner and these people. I mean, Christian Laettner has a gold medal and he had a good college career. But I would never put him in the Hall of Fame. So in the same boat, Adam Morrison, I'm not going to put him in because he had, a good Gonzaga year. I know he had 2 championships, but he didn't even do shit on those championships. He on the bench. Great cheer, though. I saw him with that towel. Man, Adam Morrison was waving the hell out that towel. But no, that's not a Hall of Famer. He's just a great Gonzaga Bulldog. How you feel about this, John?
He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it.
Yes, too.
Not so fast. We got Adam Morrison, the player of the year in 2005, 2006, and the West Coast Conference Player of the Year. We got the All-Region team. We got the Wooden Award. We got the Consensus All-American. And if you're going to disregard his college, then we have to disregard everybody in colleges that's in the Hall of Fame that never went to the pros. So, in my opinion, no, he's not a Hall of Fame. So, tricked it. No, unfortunately, no. Adam Morrison is not a Hall of Famer. He's one of the most exciting of that time, because of that time, remember, we had the Vince Young, the Matt Liner, Reggie Bush. So, there's a lot of exciting players coming out of the West Coast. So, when we were thinking about West Coast, we were like, wow, this is another gem. And he did take the college basketball by storm. I don't think he was just fundamentally. He was making shots every turnaround, dirt shots. And I thought he was going to be, 20-year vet in the NBA, averaging 25 a year. Unfortunate injuries got the best of him. And NBA is a tough game to be in. I'm watching this NBA G League documentary on Prime, and it's really, really amazing, because a guy like Denzel Valentine, who was a 16th pick in the draft, is now back in the G League in Portland, Maine, after being with one of the most historic franchises in basketball. So, it does take it like that. So, unfortunately, he did not make that leap, right? So when I think of greatest college basketball players ever, he's not in that top 25, top 30. So, Mike, take it home. I know I kind of confused you guys. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I had to do the league course, so I was hoping someone would say
not so fast. You got a Gonzaga Bulldog head right next to you? Yeah, I'd love it. I'd love it so much. So yeah, this was, like I said, this was a name that kind of popped into my head when the topic came up, as someone that's like a notable name, but obviously, like we said, role player in the NBA and not, I think he's been a hell of a player in China. I think he was a hell of a player in China when he was there. I honestly, I would say no. And that's not just because of his NBA career. He did take college by storm for that year, his junior year, and then he left. But prior to that, he didn't enter college as the like some other freshmen did after him, where it was, he could be one and done if he wants to be. He really did have to work, and that's a credit to him. He worked on his game, and he continued to improve as he continued. And honestly, kind of looking at his numbers, I think it would have benefited him, at least to some regard, to stay for his senior year and continue to develop, because his 3-point shot and his overall shot seemed to be developing better as he went through college. So I think maybe that extra year would have and now maybe he's not the 3rd overall pick if he doesn't leave. But I think for his career longevity, in hindsight, I think the senior year would have helped him.
But I disagree with that. Because he averaged 28 points. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off in the middle of your no, but he averaged 28 points a game, 52% from the field, 42% from 3. He should have left. He shouldn't have ever stayed. I said that all along. I said he should leave because that's the best time he's ever going. He comes back, he could be doing like what Drew Timmy did, is have a terrible senior year and then not be in contention. So I disagree with that ultimately because I don't think he could have made his game any better, averaging 28, 52, and 42 a game, and then ultimately averaging 5 rebounds, one assist, and 1 steal. I mean, I see that number probably going up. It's Gonzaga didn't really have much people. That's why he averaged 28 games. So I don't see that as being a complacent. I just think injuries got the best of him in the NBA, and ultimately he. So I don't know if staying would have helped him any better because he was already at the top. He won the Player of the Year. So
I understand that. I mean, Luka Garza did that. He won Player of the Year and then won Player of the Year again, and then left. And now is developed in, and he was a second-round pick because they didn't like his footwork. But now all signs out of the Detroit for Luka Garza is they're pegging him to possibly be their future power forward. So, I mean, I understand.
I don't see that as a comparison though, because he was knocking down threes and everything. He was a pure jump shooter. Adam Morrison, Luka Garza had to eventually develop a shot, and that's why he came back for another year because the new NBA is now developing a shot. So it did benefit Luka Garza coming back. Adam Morrison, I think, did his time in the NCAA, so I don't understand that.
Well, okay, I'm not Adam Morrison. It might be the opposite way. Adam Morrison's already a good shooter, but he can improve in everything that Luka Garza was already good at. Defensively,
but 2 different positions.
Moving the ball. I understand that. What I'm saying is defensively moving the ball, his assists were down. He's actually shooting worse from the field outside of 3-point range than he had the previous 2 years. And all I'm saying is fine. He may be already, doing 28, 5, and 2. Okay. Who says that if he comes back, he's not going to go 35, 7, and 4? And all of a sudden,
who said he doesn't blow out his knee and then never gets his opportunity?
Okay, well, if ifs and buts are sugar and nuts, we'll have a hell of a Christmas. But here we are. All I'm saying is I think it would have, as he continues to, as his signs show, he was continuing to improve. I think for his long-term longevity in playing basketball outside of injuries, because you can never predict injuries, I think a senior year would have helped him continue to develop his game under speaking of Hall of Fame head coach in Mark Few. That's just my point. Either way, okay. I think that, you call it 2 good years, 1 great year in college, and then a lackluster pro career despite the championships. Unfortunately, as big of a name as he was for his generation of college players, I don't think it puts him in.
Okay. Who do you want next?
Well, you had such a freaking problem with my Adam Morrison. How about you go?
Okay. So I'm sorry. It just didn't make any. I didn't correlate the whole.
No. I hear you.
All right. So I had about 6 guys on my list, and I just couldn't. I couldn't narrow it down really. So we're gonna go with all 6. No, I'm joking.
Okay.
Okay. Rapid fire.
No. Yeah.
So he's already in the Hall of Fame, but do you think Rick Pitino should be a Hall of Famer?
Who's first?
Trey, go first.
Yeah, why wouldn't he be in the Hall of Fame? Yeah, of course he should be in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the best coaches in college basketball history. Since we include college, yeah, I know his NBA, that shit didn't work out with Boston there, and I've heard several Boston people still despise that man to the day. But yeah, he's one of the best coaches in basketball history, essentially. So yeah, he should be in, because when you tell the story of college basketball, it is very too hard to tell it without Rick Pitino, whether it is as just his coach and his Final Four appearances, the players he's produced that ended up actually going on to the NBA to become Hall of Famers or, great talents. So I just find it, I know he's done some indiscretions and all that, but I'm not here for the Hall of Morality. So yeah, he is, to me, hands down, easily a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. But Jay, that was your boy for a minute. What do you feel about Rick?
Slick Rick, as I call him.
Yeah. Slick Rick did the ultimate no-no, which was actually taking Louisville to a national championship game and winning, which was revoked, as we all know. But given his success across many conferences and taking no-name teams and making them, I shouldn't say no-name teams, but teams that weren't obviously basketball giants, and getting them to be successful in tournaments, win conference championships, really turned the whole culture around in Kentucky when they went through their crap in the late 80s, and we were really starting to shit the bed in the early 90s. And he came in and just established it as once again a championship caliber program. 3 finals in a row. Tubby Smith got to piggyback off of his 2 finals in a row and win in 98. And Pitino really left a great legacy there without much trail following him, like we know certain other coaches who are there at Kentucky right now, but we're not talking about him. So I love what Ricky P did for college basketball. Of course, it didn't work out when he went to the NBA. We know that we sometimes we could just say, hey, we gave something a shot, but that was pretty much, we needed to know whether we can coach at that level or be successful at that level. And he went back to what he was great at. And he's a great college basketball coach. I think you can talk to your kids about Pitino and say, look, this guy turned many programs around. He was a leader of men, and he knew how to win. So, yeah, Ricky, you get to stay in the Hall of Fame.
And he knew the best strip clubs in every city. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I know that any Boston Celtics player or fan would say, hell no, does Rick Pitino does not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. And probably the Knicks. Probably have an issue with it too.
Yeah.
But man, he's just he was such a good college coach, and his ability to bring a team together and right, I agree with you, Jay. Like, just make any program he went to. I mean, that's the mark of a truly great coach, I think, is being able to go to any program and make them better.
Right.
Raise the level of at least play or awareness of the players, improve them as men as well as players, I think is huge. And so, yeah, I think you can't help but have him in the Hall of Fame. He's iconic. Slick Rick will always live on in our memories, no matter where he goes or what he does.
So I got 2 things on this. So this was my pick, and I'm going to start off by saying yes, he should be in the Hall of Fame for 2 reasons. One, if you're 75 years old and you're still being wanted by major programs, that says a lot about who you are as a coach. Minus the fact that he's trying to, mold young men. At the end of the day, in college basketball, I hate when they keep saying that. Oh, we're trying to mold young men. No, we're trying to get basically let's all be real about this. They're trying to get to the next level, which is the NBA. Ultimately, that's every college kid's goal at a Division I program. They're trying to go from that step to the next step. And he can produce those players. He has before. Montrezl Harrell's one of them. I know Kevin Ware, after his gruesome injury, he went into the NBA for a little bit. He's produced a lot of great athletes. The second reason is because he's had the best goddamn suits in the freaking collegiate.
Yes, true.
At all.
So true.
Like, I always said, like, anytime Syracuse played Louisville, I was like, dude, they win because of his suit. Like, Jim Boeheim doesn't compete with that. Like, come on. Like, how do you not love those suits? Like, the pinstripe. He had a pinstripe suit in every color. Who remembers when he wore the all-white one? The all-white pinstripe with the white oh, my God. With the white shoes. Oh, man. If anything, that deserves a Hall of Fame right there.
Yeah. I swear to God, he and Pat Riley are mob bosses. I swear.
Yeah.
The closest thing to being mob boss.
Yeah.
Pat's now in the polo stage, though. Pat's now more in
Pat's in
polo now. He's like, I'm done.
See, but that's the thing. I'll point this out. Watch any famous mob movie or TV show. The older retired mobsters are in golf stuff. They're in polos and khakis, living in Cuba or the Dominican Republic or Florida.
That's the one thing I'm mad about college basketball now is we got to all see the swagger of all these coaches and everything. So now it's all polos and dress pants, which I get because you're in an environment, you're warm and everything.
Yeah.
Like me of all people, right? So when I think about Rick Pitino, I just think about those swaggy ass suits, and I'm like, damn, I want one of those. Oh, they're sweet, man. If anything, all his players dress like that too when they play for him. So hats off to him.
Yeah,
hey, Trey Day, I know you were bouncing names back and forth. Did you fall on one yet?
So we are going to go with. Let's go with. We're gonna go active player. We're gonna go with Kevin Love.
Wow.
Yeah, I think this would be an interesting one. And let's go with John. Let's see what you got.
Me? Okay.
Yeah, let's see what he plays for your Heat currently. So let's see what you got.
Yeah, I mean it's tough, right? Like you look at Kevin Love, and he's one of the most top talk about players of all time. Not all time, right? But like of our generation, when we think about power forwards, he's probably in that talk when we talk about guys. And he kind of, and it goes back to kind of like what we were talking about Jimmy Grant. He kind of evolutionized the big man being able to shoot. Thought to me, he's 6'8", 6'9", coming out of UCLA, and he can hit a 3-point shot like no one, like Steph Curry. And it was just silky smooth, boom, boom. And it's like this big man who's supposed to be in the paint, grabbing rebounds and stuff, is doing that, but then taking the ball out and knocking down a shot. And it's just, I think it started the trend where now the NBA, where if you're at any height, 7 foot, 6'2", whatever, you have to be able to shoot. And I think he kind of enhanced that in a way. So when it comes down to Kevin Love, I think he is a Hall of Famer. He's an NBA champion in 2016, was a key contributor on that Cavs team. Maybe not points-wise, but just a threat as that becomes a threat on the floor when you have that in the corner. 5-time NBA All-Star, 2-time NBA all NBA second team. He was most improved player in 2011 when he lost all that weight. Rookie second team, won the I don't know if this matters, 3-point contest champion. He was a consensus All-American, Pac-10 all player of the year, first team All Pac-10, player of the year for Naismith, Gatorade, player of the year, everything. And he has 2 gold medals. So ultimately, I think he is a Hall of Famer. Maybe not the first ballot, maybe the second ballot, but I think he eventually gets in the Hall of Fame eventually. Mike?
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think Kevin Love's a Hall of Famer. Agree, but probably not first ballot at this point, since we're not expecting him to regain that like star player on a team look. But the thing with Kevin Love for me is a couple things kind of looking over his career, which is that he has made it a point, especially in the NBA, to do what he needs to do, adjust his game and adjust his physicality based on whatever team he's been on and the makeup of that team has needed from him. He in Minnesota, he was one of the young guys that was trying to breathe life back into the organization after KG. Gets traded to Cleveland, is a great supporting big man to LeBron. LeBron leaves Cleveland, and suddenly Cleveland's looking to him as a leader. And I think he did a good job of leading a young, rebuilding Cavs team into, more success, and then kind of helping usher in. He's kind of like also a big part of that transition period between your Kyrie, LeBron Cavs and the Cavs we have now. And now I think in Miami, he's contributing well as just whatever, whether it's offense, defense, kind of veteran leadership, whatever Miami may need from him. The other thing for me is his college. He had such a big year at UCLA, an impactful year at UCLA, that in my memory, I thought he was more than a one and done.
No.
Because in my head, the highlights of Kevin Love at UCLA span longer than one season.
Yeah.
Even though they weren't. He left after his freshman year because he had a great year. He's a big draft pick. So yeah, I think he's a great representation of both a great college player and a guy that can just always contribute in the NBA as well. So I would put him in, probably not first ballot compared to other guys, depending on who he's up against. But yeah, I think he definitely gets in. Jamie?
And your point, he he's not really a contributor in the Heat. He just kind of took over UD spot for the next 5 years. That's what they're going to do. They just bring in old guys. 5 years of $1 million contracts.
Hey.
Sorry, Jay. Go ahead.
How about a couple of names there? Carlson, Aboyo, Mbamote, and Russell Westbrook being his teammates at UCLA. I know he's only part of one of those teams, but they went to back-to-back Final Fours.
They should have won one. They should have won one.
Yes, they were tough. They were a tough team to put out back in those times. You're looking at a player who's had success at every level. I think Mike made a great point that he tried to adjust his game when he couldn't be he was a monster when he came into the league on the courts. I mean, Kevin Love was like the white Dennis Rodman to me. It's like, who the hell is this guy just eating up boards every night for dinner? And he was undersized compared to most big men because even though he was 6'9", he wasn't super strong. I mean, he looked taller than he was, and his presence down low was known. I mean, he was a problem for people in his rookie year. So when you can come in at that position, which is a tough man position, and prove your toughness right away, and like you said, having to replace KG and his toughness, who was probably one of the most grimy players in the league, big shoes to fill. So I think he did a great job there. Went to Cleveland, had a lot of success in his role. He definitely changed. He changed how that team had to be defended, because you have three legitimate threats all the time shooting the ball, because JR was there shooting from anywhere. And so they really spread the floor out a lot. That kind of helped LeBron revolutionize his three-point game, because they had so many other threats at the time. It became easy for LeBron to have wide open, jump shots and threes that he eventually learned to knock down. And he's one of the greatest big men passers in the game. I mean, even right now, he's still dropping dimes on the dozen from the opposite side of the court. One hand pass. Is that a quarterback or a power forward? Ladies and gentlemen, it's Kevin Love, Hall of Famer, all day long.
Okay, they take it away, brother.
Yeah, so it was a lot of back and forth there. Like you said, those passes always are great. He learned that from the great Wes Unseld, who I believe is his godfather, and that was who was known for the full court pass. If you go back and look at all NBA highlights, that was like the originator of the old full court NBA chest pass was actually him, and he actually got that from him. But after enough going back and forth and determining if Kevin Love is a Hall of Famer, I'm a little bit biased because I was supportive of the 2016 Cavaliers. So, yeah, it was a hard one for me. In the end, I likened his career to someone else and said, if this person's a Hall of Famer, then Kevin Love is a Hall of Famer. And whose shoes did he fill that's exactly just like him? Chris Bosh, newly inducted Hall of Famer, Chris Bosh. They almost have actually identical careers, and most people don't look at it like that because Kevin Love's active in the moment. But the biggest difference Chris Bosh has on Kevin Love is he has 11 All-Stars. Kevin Love has 5. But Chris Bosh, a lot of times, is getting in on popularity because of the Heat. But when it's all said and done, you look at Kevin Love's career, they both were second team All-NBA, but Kevin Love did it twice, Bosh did it once. Their stats are even almost identical. Chris Bosh for a career, 19 points. He has 8 rebounds a game, 2 assists. Kevin Love in his career, 17 points, 10 rebounds, and stayed at 2 assists. They both were the two guys who started to do the whole stretch for, kind of play in the corner. They both got championships. LeBron, Bosh got 2, Love got 1. So their careers are almost similar. I think Love was second team All Rookie. Bosh was first team All Rookie. But when you really look at the careers, him and Bosh are very similar. So if Bosh is in, the Love should be. They both have Olympic gold medals. Like their careers are actually virtually the same career, even though I don't think most people look at it like that, which is kind of actually weird. Everybody said, well, he took third role like Bosh, and some people were critical of Kevin Love for certain things. And at the time, we were also critical of Chris Bosh for certain things. But I think John's point earlier, I think it was John who said that, or John or Mike, I can't remember which one, but it was the point of
it's always me.
Okay, it was definitely Mike then. So it was the point of every time you needed Kevin Love to do something, he became that person. So in Minnesota, they needed Fat Kevin Love. Fat Kevin Love is out here bodying people, moving people around. Cleveland didn't need that guy down there because when he got to Cleveland, they had, eventually Miles got eventually played center. They had big guys. They didn't need that. So they needed him to lose weight, go stand in the corner, sometimes stretch the floor. He did that. He get to Miami. Yeah, maybe he doesn't contribute in points, but now they're asking for leadership, which is what he gave the Cavs at the end. When they were in transition, you needed some stability. That's what the Cavs didn't have the first time LeBron was left, was stability. This time you at least had somebody who was a veteran who had been through stuff, who could sit there and say, look, I've been through these battles. And I think that's helped even before he left Evan Mobley out. I think that's helped Darius Garland and some guy. with Miami, he doesn't play but so many minutes. He had a couple big games, but it helps when you have all these undrafted guys to have a guy who, once again, has been through these battles, been through these wars. That is part of being a Hall of Famer, is being an ambassador of the game as well, revolutionizing the game. So yes, for me, I guess we all agreed here. Kevin Love would be in Hall of Fame for me.
I have one more point on that. Is I will say another reason why he should be in the Hall of Fame, and a really big reason, is because he spoke out on something that us men have a hard time of doing, and about the mental health in sports. Mm-hmm. And I think he started a trend that is much needed. I mean, we just got done with Mental Health Awareness Month, and I think it's really critical because we all deal with mental health as just average Joes doing a 9-to-5 job. I can't imagine the pressure of being a professional athlete, sponsors, millions, multi-millions, hundreds of millions of dollars being thrown down you, owners, everybody. So he catapulted something that has exploded through sports, in my opinion. He was one of the first people to kind of say, yes, I need to step away from basketball for a little bit and get my mental right, or I won't last here. Lane Johnson was second. And then it started coming down the wheel in hockey and then baseball, because us as men always think, we have to be macho and everything. And I think he really started something that was really powerful, and I think is not talked about enough, that the mental health awareness that I even saw it in the quarterback documentary with Kirk Cousins. He meets with a psychiatrist every single week to talk through different things that he's doing. And that is so underplayed, in my opinion. And I think it should be a mandatory thing that every player, at no matter what length, should have that resource. And I think more teams are now allowing that resource, because it's true. We've had way too many athletes either take their lives because of too much stress on their head. And it's really sickening that we can't talk about this stuff. So I think that alone, in my opinion, puts him in for making a movement of all sports.
Made the game better. Made all games better. All sports, made it better for everybody.
Well, at least pills aren't lying around in the locker room as much, hopefully.
Yeah. All right, Jay, go ahead. Take us home on this topic.
Well, John Calipari was my first choice. I thought it would be a very awesome debate. And I thought, well, who was my favorite player growing up? It was Anthony Penny Hardaway. And I was like, I think that one might be obvious because his career was cut so short. And I thought, how could I not go with a one-time NBA MVP who had pretty tremendous college career? And of course, you guys know who I'm about to.
Oh, no.
Not talking about the great Bill Walton when we're talking about Hall of Fame NBA or college players, ladies and gentlemen, is Bill Walton, Hall of Famer.
Where you want to go first?
You, mother.
Hell yeah. I watched that ESPN 30 for 30, and Bill Walton is now my favorite player of all time, man. That dude is cool, like the other side of the pillow, man. I love that guy, man. He's so, just even keel no matter what. And, it just doesn't seem like anything shakes him. He just, he lives his own life, does whatever. It felt like basketball was like a side job to him, and he was very good at it, playing at UCLA, winning all those championships. I mean, look at this. He is a Hall of Famer, but I think he deserves it. 2-time NBA All-Star. He was the block champ in 76-77, 2-time NBA All-NBA, 76-77 Finals MVP, and I believe brought Portland their first championship. I could be wrong, but just those stats alone. He just was a pivotal part of that movement of Portland and kept the Trailblazers where they were. And he's just, I don't know, when you think of UCLA greats, he's got to be at the top. And he's got to be in the top 5. So in my head, if you're top 5 in your school history, and especially a school like UCLA, who had all those championships, and that's when they were winning them all, right around that time, how can you not put him in the Hall of Fame, let alone on that? He was dominant. When he came to UCLA, it catapulted John Wooden, and it catapulted him to another level. And, I just see him as a Hall of Famer. So, yeah, Bill Walton, hands down, no question. Trey?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, he probably would have been a Hall of Famer if you just counted the UCLA career.
Right.
Doing that much in the pros. But there aren't too many people, and I feel like it's one. I kind of think who it is. One other person who's the NBA MVP and a Sixth Man of the Year, like in their career. So I mean, that shows you that man was able to come off the bench on a later point and reinvent himself in Boston, and then be an MVP up in Portland. I mean, I told you about the other day. A lot of people say Damian Lillard's the best player in Portland Blazers history. He's not. It's Bill Walton. Bill Walton is the one who had an MVP. Bill Walton's the one who won a championship. Bill Walton is the best player in Portland Trail Blazers history. So not only is he the best player in the franchise history, he's for most people probably a top 5, or at worst case top 10 all-time college basketball player career. When you look at 3 championships, 3-time player, I mean, only Kareem and him basically are head up when it comes to that sort of thing. He's been all NBA. He's been all defense. I mean, what else can you do? I mean, and remember, we talk about the totality of things. He's been a broadcaster. You have to factor in all of these things because they do factor all of these in. When we talk about being an ambassador for the game, Bill Walton's one of those guys where you can't really talk about basketball without bringing up Bill Walton. And I don't think any of the 4 of us can imagine basketball without Bill Walton at some point. Because whether we grew up watching him as a player or whether you grew up with him as an announcer, he has crossed paths with your basketball life, whether you're a big college fan or whether you're an NBA fan. At some point, Bill Walton has been very relevant to your life. So, yeah, Bill Walton is definitely a Hall of Famer for sure.
Yeah.
And as he is, and he should be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, 2-time NBA champion, 2-time NCAA champion, who was an amazing, outstanding player at UCLA from the jump. Like, actually, his worst year was his last year. It's the only year of the 3 years he played there that they didn't win a title. And still.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, his worst year was his last year, right? His worst year at UCLA has him going 19, 14, and 5.
And that was during the riots.
Season. Yeah.
That was during the riots at the school and everything like that with the movement. That's with like doing all that side stuff. That's why I said basketball like second to him.
Yeah.
It was
That's
crazy.
the thing. Imagine Bill Walton was so good that when he wasn't focused on basketball, he still averaged a double-double with 5 assists as a big man. I mean, first overall pick, MVP, 6th Man of the Year, like I said, 2-time champion, defensive awards, offensive awards, all NBAs, and just an awesome dude. Like to listen to him talk about basketball alone, I think puts him in the Hall of Fame just because he's so smart but so laid back about the game in the way he approaches it. And I think it's amazing the NBA career he did have and the fact that his numbers are hurt by his last year where he only played 10 games, only averaged 2 points, because his foot was so bad. He missed 3 full seasons over the course of his career with foot injuries on top of any games he missed with it throughout his career. So imagine what this dude would have done if he had never hurt his foot. It'd be insane. He might be a top 20, top 15 player ever if some people don't consider him that already for what he's done. Right. So yeah, 100%. Bill Walton is a Hall of Famer. And anybody, I will fight anyone that says otherwise.
Really quick,
ding ding.
Like I was saying, MVP and 6 Man. I knew I didn't make this up. I heard it in 2K. It's James Harden's the other one who also has MVP.
When you said that, I thought that might be who it is.
Yeah, because in 2K they reference how their careers are basically opposite because James Harden gets his 6 Man when he's really young and coming to the league, then he gets the MVP in his prime. Walden does it the other way where he ends his career as a 6 Man and starts off like MVP, so they had kind of reverse careers. But go ahead, Jay. What's your thought on this?
So, I love the guy. And here's how I see his career. College career, broadcasting career. And if it was a hamburger, boy, would the meat be underwhelming as a pro. So, un est magnifique des hamburgers bon. The buns are fantastic. We're talking about the best bread you could possibly ever have with a hamburger because the college career is top level. The broadcasting career alone gets him into the Hall of Fame to me. We could disregard his time at UCLA. And as a broadcaster, Billy all day, baby. Conference of Champions all day. So, but so underwhelming as a pro. He only played 1 full season. career average 13 and a half, about 10 boards. But you make Portland a relevant team and you help them win their first. You got an MVP doing it. I mean, we look at Jokic now and be like, even if he had only won one MVP and he's given Denver their first championship, he can level out for the rest of his career, and you're still going to debate that he becomes a Hall of Famer without any relevance as a USA college athlete or ever being a broadcaster. Talking about the comparison game. Right. I mean, I want to say that it could be debatable because of how underwhelming his career ended up as a pro, but he's just so good as a college player and as just a human being, and so awesome as a broadcaster. That gets him in for me. You know, I love the guy. I can't knock my own guy out of the Hall of Fame. Bill Walton, one day we'll take a walk in the great northern woods of California. We might even have a little trip. Who knows? My guy, Bill Walton.
He'll take you to his favorite lake spot. So, if you guys saw his 30 for 30, if you get a chance, his house is so cool. He's got a room designated to each like band. He's got like an AC/DC room. He's got a Bob Dylan room. He's like, and then that's cool. And then there's a guest room where his wife's like, "This is like my room. This is my girly room." So she like finally has a room in the house. It's so funny though. Like the house just looks like a normal house, but he's got like different like places.
That's awesome.
You know what's funny? I always think about this. Like Jamie brought up the point of him having 13 points per game, and I don't know if it's a different way to do this for NBA, but it's always been interesting to look at some of these players' career points per game, because you'll get a guy like T-Mac, for example. He averaged 19 points per game, but we think of him as a 30-point scorer, but you got these years where he's just on the back of a bench, and those years are added in. So sometimes some of these guys, their averages like get deflated for like just hanging on in the league. And I'm saying that's what Walton did, but it's like always weird to me to look at some of these guys and he'll be like, yeah, that guy has 15 points a game. You got to explain to people like, no, I know say T-Mac averaged 19, but that dude was dropping 30 every year for like 5 years. So you almost have to like.
At least in Orlando, he was. He was
well, it's ultimately like you can't always go by the stats, and that's what I think we always talk about. Yeah, when we're on the phone, we can't always go by the stats. Like Kobe and LeBron and all those guys, of course, like they've played consistent years, right? But I think Kobe's overall averages too got hurt by the 2 years he was out too as well. But in his final year when he was
the first couple years, Kobe didn't start. 6 minutes,
right? Exactly.
But Kobe probably really, we think of him as a 30-point scorer for real. So like, I don't. Like I said, it's just a random, really nothing serious. Yeah. It's just always interesting. I mean, because like you look at it like this, Anthony Davis averages 24 points a game for his career. And are we ever thinking of him as a better scorer than like T-Mac, or him and Kobe are basically even? And maybe later what's going to happen is Anthony Davis, because he's in street clothes, he's going to drop down. He'll be 18-point scorer. But at the same time, it's going to be like, well, Anthony Davis is better than 18, so we'll have to like go back and explain the kids later. Like,
he might have had one of the best freshman years in the history of college basketball.
Right. So, went on like that streak. Well, boys, that was our NBA Hall of Fame. Let us know what you think in the comments if those 4 are Hall of Famers or not.
Okay, so first off, I'd like to give a shout out to my guy, Jose Hopkins Jones Ramirez, better known as Jose Ramirez. See, I know y'all saw that fight. It was Jose Ramirez. It was Tim Anderson. It was a battle of light heavyweights. Jose coming in at 5'9", 190. Tim Anderson coming in at 6'1", 185. Now, the current lightweight champ is Dimitri Bivol. And with that punch that Jose threw, man, he gave him a run for his money. See, I call him Jones Ramirez with Jose because it reminds me of the days of Roy Jones. I loved Roy Jones. That was my favorite boxer probably ever, other than maybe Ali and Tyson. But Roy Jones was my guy. So watching him, it made me proud to watch a light heavyweight go out there and do what he does. The way he kind of did that bob and weave, it also reminded me of another guy, Bernard Hopkins, if y'all remember him. So I just love seeing that. And the favorite part for me, Jose only got 3 games. So Tim goes out here, gets his ass kicked, and still gets double the amount of suspension time. I just thought it was amazing. And Tim Anderson, you got nerve because you wanted to go in, drop the gloves first, square up like you about to do something, and then get dropped like that. You should be ashamed of yourself. It was a clean shot. It was a clean fight. That's what I love to see. I wish more sports would let people fight like that. Hockey does it. I would love to see some of our favorite football players do it. I would love to see basketball get in some of these moments instead of doing the chest bump. So I just loved it. I wish we got more of it, and I'm looking forward to the next time that the White Sox play the Cleveland Guardians again.
Since we had Jose Ramirez and Tim Anderson duking it out, it brings up a good topic. What is your favorite sports fight memory across all sports? Doesn't matter what it is. It can be tennis. It can be what have you. Grandpa Jay, go first.
You're really putting me on the spot right now.
All right, I'll throw it over to Trey Day.
No, I got it.
Okay,
Grandpa. This one, of course, just a memory for me was like, what in the absolute dog F is happening right now in sports? And that was when Don Zimmer decided to come on the field and come after none other than Pedro Martinez, who literally grabs him by the collar and yanks him down on the ground. And everybody's like, oh my God, how could Pedro do that to him? Oh man. Well, Zimmer probably looked like he had the look of the devil in his face coming towards Pedro. Like, if I had someone in my hand, especially a bat, I would swing it at your head because you know how much we hate each other already. And just the memory of that moment, how many times it played over on SportsCenter, how many different opinions there were about it. Pedro obviously apologizing later on for it. Zimmer looking like he was having a stroke on the ground, and you're like, is the guy dead? What the hell is going on right now? Is Pedro going to be the most hated player in baseball history? The Yankees already hated him more than probably any player at that time because of how dominant he was. Yeah. But that just kind of stands out to me when I just think randomly in sports, what fight do I remember? The first damn memory that pops up is Pedro grabbing Zimmer by the collar and tossing him on the ground.
Not to mention, I've never seen someone go so slow at someone and yet tumble faster than he was running.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because he was like, it was like Don was trying, and then all of a sudden Pedro grabs him by the head and like bowls him into the dugout. I remember that I was pissed at the Yankees, man. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, I got fired up.
You asshole. But after, like 20 years later, I was like, that's pretty funny right there.
Yeah, no, at the time, especially as kids, you're like, he's 77. What are you doing? Why are you throwing him to the ground? And then you're like, oh, well, Don was charging at him. Maybe he was asking for it a little bit. I mean,
I don't think Don was slowing down. I think he was picking up speed like an airplane.
Oh, no, yeah, he was a rock rolling downhill. He's getting faster, slightly. Not super fast, but he's getting faster.
While you were talking, Mike, who's your favorite sports fight memory?
So I've had a few go through my head, both ones that I've seen footage of, and then ones that I've seen, and one that kind of like I remembered out of the blue that I can't. Do you guys remember when Andre Johnson and Cortland Finnegan fought right off the snap?
Yeah,
AKA Andre Johnson bullied Cortland Finnegan into the turf.
Like giant Andre Johnson.
yeah. Against Cortland Finnegan. Yeah. And actually, I remember my roommate Anthony from freshman year of college made up a little song. Once was a story of Cortland Finnegan. He got his ass beat on national television. Like, why Cortland Finnegan even thought to begin with that he could contend with Andre Johnson in a straight one-on-one shoving match, I'll never know. I would love to hear the man tell that story, because what were you thinking?
But I don't even think it was Cortland Finnegan. It was Andre Johnson.
He didn't go with a great moment in wrestling history. I'm shocked.
Well, absolutely. I mean, some people don't consider that a sport, so.
We do.
You do.
Okay. We do. Which fight are you talking about?
I'm the one that
you tell us.
That's your
honorable mention.
Honorable mention. I happen to know that Booker T and Batista fought for real at a SummerSlam photo shoot in like 2007.
That's good facts.
Yeah, and then they tried to turn it into a storyline, I think, for like 2 weeks. And then they realized, oh, these guys just legit don't like each other. What if we don't put them in a ring with weapons? So that stopped. But yeah, no, it was just the memory of watching Cortland Finnegan try to shove Andre back and Andre not move, and then just Finnegan be put in the ground.
Well, if I remember correctly, I think Andre Johnson is the one that. Oh, no. Wait, Cortland Finnegan did pounce out the ball and start swinging at him.
Yeah,
Andre Johnson was like, what are you doing, bro?
Right. Yeah, Finnegan, like, as good
Didn't Andre throw off his helmet too? That's how you know how crazy that motherfucker was.
After he had him
helmet, he's like, come on.
Yeah. Oh, no. Andre was legitimately ready to swing. Like, he was going to beat his ass. But, like, everybody else came, you know how these things go. Everybody comes over, pulls Andre away, picks Finnegan up out of the ground and drags him away. But Cortland Finnegan, on a good day, 5'10", 5'11", $180, soaking wet. Like Andre Johnson's 6'5", like 225, like
right.
Like it's just I don't know what he was thinking. Trey, what you got?
Oh, this actually was hard for me because I enjoy nothing more than like sports fights. So I was like, which way do I go about this? Do I go to boxing, do a real fight? Not gonna do that, but best boxing match ever, it would be Corrales versus Castillo. Great boxing match. 2 knockdowns in the 10th round. Corrales gets up again, comes back, knocks out, wins fight. Then it was like, okay, do I do my favorite fight? Do I do a football fight? You know, you kind of remind me when you say that Crabtree and Talib.
Yeah, okay.
That was a funny football fight just to get some change snatched in the middle of a game. That's amazing. So then I looked at my favorite fight, but I've already talked about that on the show. My favorite fight, of course, is the Malice in the Palace, but we're not going to talk about that one for today. The fight we're going to talk about today is a fight that I didn't see live, Mike didn't see live, John didn't see live. Jay may have been at the stadium when it actually happened. And honestly, I don't even know if y'all even realize this fight actually happened. But my favorite fight for at least this segment is Dr. J versus Larry Bird, 1984.
Oh, I do remember that.
You gotta go back. You gotta go to the deep YouTube archives to find that one. But basically, Larry Bird is just serving the hell out of Dr. J. In that game, Larry Bird has 30 points, or I think Larry dropped. No, it's 42 points in 30 minutes. Meanwhile, Dr. J's on the other side with 6 points. Larry's known to talk shit, so Larry's up the court. You old man, we kicking your ass. The Celtics already reigning. The Sixers, basically, they're trying to, get to that Boston level. And he is just serving them. Eventually, Larry kind of elbows Dr. J, and Dr. J just says, fuck it, and just hauls off, hits Larry, starts to choke him. You have this infamous picture where Larry and Dr. J are both holding each other, like choking each other up. Meanwhile, Dr. J is welling on him, and Charles Barkley is basically holding Larry Bird up as Dr. J is welling on Bird. Barkley has said in interviews that he swear he was trying to break it up. But if you go back and look at that fight, it does not look like Charles was trying to break that up. Meanwhile, he's basically holding.
I'll hold him. You hit him.
Yeah, he's basically getting cleaned up. Meanwhile, you got other NBA Hall of Famer Moses Malone. He's running in cleaned up house. And then, funny enough, I always found this interesting. If you look close enough, Robert Parrish, another NBA Hall of Famer, he didn't do shit. He's the biggest man on the court.
Ken McHale would have been the one coming in there like a maniac.
Yeah, right.
I don't know he was that fight, but he would have been.
Well, they always say Larry Bird is the biggest trash talker of all time.
Oh, yeah.
History.
They always say that he was the biggest trash talker of all time.
Up though. He won a trash talker. He did a trash talker and he delivered.
He did.
And the funny part about it, remember in those are times, you know what happened with that? There were no suspensions, and everybody just got $7,500.
That's nuts. That's nuts.
Everybody got to play the next day like ain't shit happened. They took a $7,500 fine and kept it pushing. Barkley still said that is like the most offended fine he has of his career is being fined for that fight because he swears he was breaking it up, holding Larry up. So yeah, I got to go with that is for me the one.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
John, what you got?
Yeah, so John, what you got?
All right, so it is March 26th. Actually, it is Game 6 of the 1996 Western Conference Finals, and Chris Draper is heading into the boards to grab the puck, and Claude Lemieux checked Red Wings center Chris Draper from behind. Draper smashing his face into the boards. The Avalanche upset the Red Wings in 6 games, which was an upset because the Red Wings were just coming off a Stanley Cup championship. My team. So a year later, March 26, 1997, the Colorado Avalanche Detroit Red Wings brawl that started in the second period at 18:44 and lasted 15 minutes with 18 fighting majors and 144 minutes of penalties. And this was all in response. And the best part of that whole entire fight is that Patrick Waugh was skating up the ice where let me look. Darren McCarty cross-checks, clotheslines Patrick Waugh, and then they start going after McCarty. And then Mike Vernon, the goaltender for the Red Wings at that time, decides, oh, hell no, I'm getting in this, and starts him and Patrick Waugh at center ice duking it out. Pretty much jerseys are off, shoulder pads are off, so they're fighting real. And this lasted 15 minutes. The Red Wings ended up winning in overtime in that game, but it was an 18 fighting majors. I'll repeat, 144 minutes of penalties in one game.
What they do? Play 3-on-3 for the whole second period?
No, yeah, pretty much. I mean, no, they played 4-on-4. Like back then, it was 4-on-4. So they played 4-on-4. It took the refs a long time to figure out what the hell was going on. But eventually, if you remember, the Detroit Red Wings were in the Western Conference. So that was a very heated rivalry with the Chicago Blackhawks as well. Mm-hmm. And at that time, it was Colorado and Detroit coming out of the West. Mm-hmm. And it was always them two duking it out. So that I remember that hit clearly because I was watching that game. And I went nuts because it was a cheap shot. I called it Claude Lemieux.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely. There's line brawls in hockey. There's these things called line brawls. Then there's that which was like team brawl. Like that
was everything.
Everybody went at it. Mike Vernon, by the way.
Mike Vernon, it was like one after the other. And like Patrick Waugh, and he's one of my favorite goaltenders. He's on my wall right now behind me. My favorite goaltenders all the time. It was just like constant, like player after player after player. After that game, that gave Mike Vernon his 300th game victory. So that was actually pretty funny to have that historic game on the best fight in hockey history.
Which I want honorable mention Terrell Owens getting tackled on the Dallas Star.
Yeah.
By, I think it's George T.
Yeah, George T. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a pretty special
moment. That was pretty
evil. They're into a fight. You're like, some shit's about to go down right now. He's going back to the stuff.
That's pretty Eagle, so that's fine. He was with San Francisco at that point, so he did it on the Little Star afterwards.
Yeah.
And the Eagles, he did on the Little Star. Mike, what are you saying?
I was gonna say to kind of tie the last two topics together. Mike Vernon, who will be inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in November.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah, awesome. He's part of the.
That's awesome.
Class for this year. He
was a dominant goalie. It was always a battle between him and Waugh, and everyone always thought it was like Osgood, but when like Vernon retired eventually, it was like Osgood and the Dominator, Dominic Hasek. It was like going back and forth because Dominic Hasek always kept going from Detroit to Buffalo and then back to Detroit, and it was just like crazy. And like if you remember, Dominic Hasek is one of the guys that had a big fight. He's a goaltender for the Buffalo Sabres. He came storming out against Dallas, I think, in the Stanley Cup Finals, and like took out I forget who it was, but he slid like halfway out in the middle of the ice and took a player out who was on a breakaway and like just absolutely destroyed him. And like that eliminated goaltenders from crossing the blue line ever. So that's my fight, favorite fight moment in hockey history. With my favorite team.
That's a good fight. I remember there's a whole. If you guys get a chance to check it out, whether you're a hockey fan or not, there's actually a whole documentary about specifically those '90s Avalanche versus Red Wings teams, and a lot of it is that whole sequence of events.
And we'll drop each YouTube link down here below for each of the fights, so you guys can go check it out. So check it out in the description. But fellas, I think it's time. I think it's time to introduce our new way of Stump the Squad.
All right.
Let's do it.
We're taking it over to Jay.
Gentlemen, coming to you. A revamped Stump the Squad. So we decided as a crew that how about we just have an ongoing scoring system, because we're all going to get our rants now in case you haven't seen it. You get to see each one of us rant every week now. Congratulations. That's good sports TV or good sports media. So Stump the Squad is going to work like this now. We're going to have an ongoing score that's going to take us into show 100. At the 100th show, the person with the highest points over the last however many shows, 29 shows, is going to be crowned the champion of the 100th show. At that point, every 25 shows, we're going to keep crowning a new champion. What are we going to crown them with? Well, I could say it's an actual King's crown. But we're going for that discount double check, baby, round the waist. We got championship belt coming to Cinco Squad. So someone's going to be able to hold that for half a year, however long it is, however long it takes us to get to show 25. Then it just keeps getting handed down probably every 6 months. This is going to be a new, exciting way for us to feel like we still got a chance instead of hating Mike every week. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the new Stump the Squad. Rules are the same. -2 if you get it wrong, +2 if you get it right. Stakes are even higher now because every week counts until show 100. And I would like, in honor of him being the champ so far the most this time, Mike, you do the honors.
Okay. Glad that this new system may eliminate me being the villain all the time. Although I have a feeling that if I continue with the success I've had so far, that I will continue to be the villain.
You're gonna be the mustard boy because we ain't catching up to you.
We need you to go on a vacation for like 3 months to catch.
You get a week. You get a week.
There was a point where you were 8 weeks in a row just champion. And I think the world was like, I think this is just Mike's rant of the week.
Let's see, what am I going to talk about this week? No, so in honor of our kind of fight theme for the evening, for the most part, I bring you a boxing question.
Okay.
And that is this. How many between his 2 reigns? How many combined defenses of the WBO Heavyweight Championship did Vladimir Klitschko have? 2 reigns with the WBO Heavyweight Championship. How many total combined successful defenses did Vladimir Klitschko have? Is it A, 25, B, 19, C, 21, or D, 17?
I like the 21.
Yeah, me too. 21.
What was our choices again?
A, 25, B, 19, C, 21, D, 17.
I'm going to go 25.
I don't know why 19 sounds right, though, but I'm sticking with 21.
Okay, so we got 2 21s and a 25.
See.
This week I have successfully stumped
Everyone.
the squad.
Yep, it's 19.
It is 19, Jay. Good job.
Oh, I knew it.
19. I believe he had, hold on, because it's 5 his first time.
Yeah.
The second time he had 14.
Yeah.
Which is the record for the WBO Heavyweight Championship.
That's a good one.
Yes. So I've successfully stumped everyone. Yay. Well, since Jay, you got it right on the second time around.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Let's go with you.
Doesn't count. All right.
Yeah.
I know we're all ready to talk a lot of football, so how about I just go straight into some football Stump the Squad?
Okay.
And we're talking rookie wide receivers. And my question to you guys tonight is, who holds the record for most receptions in a rookie year? Is it A, Michael Thomas, B, OBJ, 3, Anquan Bolden, or D, Jalen Waddle?
Anquan Bolden.
You're going
who holds the most receptions?
Most
in a rookie year.
receptions in a rookie season in NFL. You got Michael Thomas, OBJ, Anquan Bolden, or Jalen Waddle.
Anquan Bolden.
Michael Thomas. Trey?
All right, Michael Thomas. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So we got 2 Michael Thomases and an Anquan Bolden. Gentlemen,
It's probably Anquan.
just like Mike, I have successfully stumped this squad.
OBJ?
It's Jalen Waddle with 104.
Oh.
Anquan Bolden had 101, Michael Thomas had 92, and OBJ had 91.
Okay.
So
I'm trying to remember.
So you stumped the squad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it was Jalen Waddle.
All right. Who's next?
You.
All right. So let me read down the scores. So it's -2 for Jamie, -4 for myself, -4 for Trey, and -2 for Mike. So Mike,
right there with Mike.
Banner start.
Percy Harvin holds the longest non-scoring kickoff return in NFL history. How long was it? Was it 102, 104, 105, or 100?
102.
Mike says 102.
Jason.
Jamie? Jamie?
It was 102, 104. What else was it?
105, 100.
105.
Trey. I have successfully stumped Trey and Mike. It is 104 yards because he caught it. And most people will be like, how? But he caught it from the other end zone.
Right.
He got tripped up at the 3-yard line. So it is 104. Trey, you're up next.
Okay, so back to boxing. Who else is left in here? Actually, I know I'm out already.
So Jamie's at 0. I'm at -4. You and Mike are at -6. Or -4. Mike's at -4 too. I'm sorry.
So, John, you and I need to get it right. Jay needs to get it wrong.
No, you're eliminated because you got 2 in a row. I'm joking.
You're always eliminated.
It's like that math ain't mathing.
You're good. You're good. Go. Okay, so yeah, we need to get it right, and Jay needs to get it wrong.
So back to the boxing ring. Of course, we had a wonderful guest earlier, so in honor of that, I want to talk a little more boxing. Boxing's been heavy, and we've talked about fights lately, but you probably never heard this guy before. Lynn Wicker. Why is Lynn Wicker famous? Lynn Wicker holds the record for the most career fights as a professional boxer. How many fights did Lynn have in his career? 147, 215, 472, 538.
215.
Those are even options.
So he had how many? Is this amateur and pro?
No, this is pro. How many career pro fights did Lynn Wickward have in his career? I'll go to numbers again.
Yeah.
147, 215, 472, 538.
215.
We're going 215 for Mike.
What was the 4? 438?
538.
What's the 4?
472.
That's it.
John's going to go 472.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems ridiculous. The frequency of the fights at 472 would literally have to be like he would have to box every week for 8 years consecutively.
We heard David earlier. He's going right back to the ring.
But if he had a 20-year career, which most likely it did span for a while, then it would be every 3 weeks.
This isn't a math show.
There's so much fighting, but God, if the kid started as a teenager and went to forever, the 4 sounds plausible, but I'll take the 200 answer. I don't know the accent. 235, I think you said?
Yeah, 215.
215? I'll go 215.
Okay, so double check. What were your answers again?
472.
John,
215.
472. Jay, 215.
I feel like I gotta change. I feel like I should change it because I'm
No,
trying to.
you can't change it.
No,
Just,
you said 147 already, right?
147.
No, I said 215. I said 215.
Oh, okay.
215. Okay. I thought we had 3 different answers. Okay. So today I have successfully stumped.
I can't win.
Everybody except for John.
Boom, baby. Let's go.
So, yes, Lynn Wicker had 472 fights. Lynn Wicker was a British boxer. He fought from 1928 to 1947, so 19 years, by the way. That's your number to your math. Now, it's kind of a back and forth for how many wins he actually had, but the Guinness World Record says he has the most fights. So the most common win percentage, they say, is he had 342 wins, 86 losses, and 43 draws in his career. And then also, in the 19 years, the man fought 4,020 rounds of boxing in his life.
God damn.
So that
he was tired.
Throwing them joints.
He was tired.
The guy can't even tell the difference between 1 and 2 by this point. If he was alive to live past 50.
All right, Trey. We have to have a tiebreaker. Jay and I have tied. Do you have a tiebreaker?
I don't, but I can try to find one. Mike, you try to find one?
Yeah, I'm trying to find one now.
Okay.
Okay, I got one.
Okay. Mike, we'll take it. Throw it over to you.
One. Okay. So, current WBO super middleweight champion is Canelo Alvarez. How many current successful defenses does Canelo have?
How many
for that belt? How many current successful defenses of the super middleweight title does Canelo Alvarez have at this moment?
How many defenses does he have?
How many current successful defenses of the super middleweight title does he have? Jay says 9.
I'm going to go 42.
42. Bro, go ahead. Thank you very much. And your winner.
Yeah, Jay wins by a landslide.
Why? What is it?
3.
Yeah.
I was going to guess 6 originally.
I have no idea.
This is not.
All I've seen him with his belts. Like,
Yeah,
but what
this
do you
is
say
not
his
the one.
career? He probably doesn't even have 42 wins yet.
Yeah,
so
so
it's
he
when he
doesn't even have
became
No.
champion, how many times he's successfully defended.
I mean, yeah. So yeah, Jay was gonna win that regardless because I had no
Plus-
idea. I was going off of like the thing
59.
before where you said
He only
like,
has 59 career wins. So
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
plus-
So I don't know. Yeah.
This
So
is-
Jay,
and you see him
congrats.
with belts, but sometimes he's rotated to a different belt because he moved weight
Okay.
class and things like
Yeah,
that.
I had no
So
idea. I
like
mean,
defense, they'll vacate the belt. He'll go up in the weight class, so he doesn't have the belt.
all right.
This is the one
Maybe-
I think he's held the least amount of time. With
Oh,
all the
okay.
belts he has.
All right. Well, our week 1 champion goes to Grandpa Jay.
You have one.
You have one, and that locks it in now, boys. You are now week 1 champion. We will, like Grandpa Jay said, everyone, we will crown the champion on show 100, which I believe is next February. I think I did the math right, February 11th around there, but which is right before the Super Bowl. So we'll be crowning a champion as the NFL will be crowning a champion. So Cinco Squad, we will have a champion in February.
Yes, we will.
Fellas, any last final thoughts before we head out into the beautiful weekend?
Absolutely. Go Liverpool. Come on now.
But football's back.
Yeah.
And maybe preseason, but football's back.
And of course, we have our Cinco Squad champion, Fantasy Football League champion here today with the ring. He will show it next week. He will try to defend that. We have our draft here on September 3rd at 8 p.m. We'll let you know our rosters after that happens. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, David. Best of luck to David in his fight on August 26th. Like I said, a reminder, August 26th, the Shrine Auditorium in San Antonio. Make sure you go out if you're there. If not, we will put this live stream in our socials and in this description when we get it. But definitely good luck to him. We will have him on after the 5-0 record at the end of December. Best of luck to him. Hope everyone has a great weekend. We'll see you here next week. Cinco Squad out.